to show you how to convert an image to grayscale or black and white. And there's three easy ways to do it, although I really like one way the best. So the easiest way is in the Basics tab here. Just click on black and white, and that will strip out the color. This image has a decent amount of contrast, so I don't think that it really becomes an issue, but often when you do this, you'll find that the image is very flat. It needs readjustment of your exposure, your highlights, shadows, all that sort of stuff. If you don't want it in black and white, you can just click on black and white again and it'll make it color. Another way to do that would be to just take the saturation slider all the way down. But what I really like to do is when I convert to black and white with the button here, I can actually play with the brightness values in different ways. So in this image, kind of center here, it's made up of a lot of green. And what I can do is I can actually adjust the brightness of the greens by pulling the slider for greens up and down. And that can kind of make different parts pop. So think of it as maybe if you're doing landscape photography and there's a lot of green foliage, you could brighten and darken just the green. Or you could brighten and darken just the blue, which is the sky. I don't think this image has a lot of blue in it. Oh, the floor. So I can make that stripe on the floor brighter or darker. And some of these other paintings are more pink, purple, magenta. So let's see what happens if I play with that up and down. You can see that one really changing. And there's one that's orange. So let me try. Yeah, there we go. We brighten and darken the orange. It's also the orange brick. So this is just kind of a way that you can kind of make different things that were different colors pop depending on the brightness of the original color. Otherwise, the thing that we could do is we could play with the tone curve. And the tone curve is kind of like your highlight, shadow, black, white. It's labeled lights and darks, but basically, and these are usually more at 25 and 75, but basically you can click on this curve and drag things up and down in order to, for example, brighten the highlights and lower the shadows. And that gives you a bit of an S-curve, adding contrast. You can also click on this little target icon here, and it lets you go into your image and actually find something that you want to lighten and just drag up, and it will pull that slider up. Or maybe over here, I think this gray should be a little bit lighter. I can brighten that up a little. Maybe this white is too bright, and I can click and try and drag down, although it's grabbing the same thing I had over here. But it'll let you kind of isolate those four regions of the image, and you're able to actually pull them up and down to adjust kind of isolated things. So if you have a lot of highlight values, maybe you want all these things to be over here, and you can kind of isolate the whites down, but the highlights stay up, and the lights kind of, well, wherever it seems appropriate. So that's just a little bit different way of kind of adjusting things by the range of brightness in an image. This kind of wavy curve, I think, is probably not a really great thing, but you can kind of see what it looks like now. It has more contrast depending on how I adjusted these sliders and that tone curve. So those are things that you can experiment with. If you struggle with them, then just stick with the Basics tab.